Hello class 12. Welcome to history lecture. Today we will continue with our third chapter and our today's topic is the Chinese trade, and we'll read about the opium trade in China. So we have read about the British imperialism in Indian context. Now we will read the imperialism of the Europeans in China. So there we see that in the context of China it was completely different because China maintained a policy of isolation. And in India we see from the very beginning that the outsiders are coming and they were allowed to trade by the ruling power. That is, the Mughals were there. They had signed several treaties and the traders were allowed to come. In case of China, it was completely different. The Chinese maintained a policy of isolation. So the China followed a policy of isolation, and they did not allow the outsiders, the European traders, to come into their land for trading. They never buy anything. They did not sell anything to the foreign powers. They did not buy anything from other European powers. So they completely maintained a policy of isolation. But this situation started changing from the 16th century, and gradually we see the Portuguese, the Dutch and the English, gradually one by one all the powers were coming into China. So with these coming of other powers like Britain and then the French, then came the Americans, like this, when all the powers were coming, then we see that China became open to the Europeans. And now the British, mainly we see in the British context, that it was a major policy of the British to control China. Politically, they could not control China. They did not have much interest to control China politically, like they have done in India. They were conquering different places of India and bringing India under their control. But they wanted to trade and capture the wealth of China. China had a huge wealth, and this was their main target. So we see that Britain by that time had completely controlled India, and they wanted to establish a good trade relation between India and China. So we see that the British wanted to capture the markets of China, and they wanted to sell their products in China, and thus they were establishing a trading control between India and China. So in India they were controlling the market, and Indian goods they were selling in the Chinese market. Through this they wanted to control the Chinese economy. So in this matter we will see that the major thing that happened in China afterward, we see that afterward what happened in China is the open door policy, which was started by China. Open door policy was started by America. America proposed this open door policy in China, and China gradually became open to all. Now how China became open, that we will see through the Opium War. The Opium War is very important. Opium Wars rather, because two Opium Wars were fought, and this Opium Wars was a major thing through which the open door policy in China started, and China became open to all the foreign powers, to the European powers as well as to America. So there we will see that in China there were two Opium Wars were fought. The first Opium War was fought from 1839 to 1842, and the second Opium War was fought from 1856 to 1860. And these two wars we see that completely made China open to the foreign powers. So these two Opium Wars were very important, and the treaties that were signed were also very important. The thing that we need to remember is after the first Opium War, after the Treaty of Nanking was signed. Okay, Treaty of Nanking was signed after the first Opium War, and we see that after the second Opium War, the Treaty of Tientsin was signed. So two treaties were very important. Treaty of Nanking signed in 1842, and the Treaty of Tientsin was signed in 1858. So we have to remember this thing mainly, that is the first Opium War fought from 1839 to 1842, and Treaty of Nanking was signed in 1842 after the end of the first Opium War. The second Opium War was fought from 1856 to 1860, And in 1858, we see by the Treaty of Tientsin, the war ended, but it continued for 2 more years. 1858, the war more or less ended, but 2 more years it continued, and in 1860, it completely ended by the signing of the Treaty of Peking. So Peking Treaty was signed, and ultimately the war ended in 1860. So now we'll see the causes that led to the Opium War, first Opium War and the second Opium War. For the causes we will see, and then we will discuss the terms of the treaties in short. So causes, we see that this opium was a highly addictive item. It was an item of addiction. So Britain was having huge profit by selling opium in China. And the Chinese government has banned the selling of opium or the trading of opium in China, because many people from higher class to lower class to middle class, all people were getting so much addicted of this substance, of this opium, that it was considered as illegal in China. So China has passed the law where opium was illegal and opium trading was also illegal. But Britain continued illegal trading, smuggling of opium in China from India. In India, opium was produced and this opium was smuggled to China. So in this situation, we see that the British now started smuggling opium in China, and during this time, we see that China passed several strict measures to control the opium trade. And China appointed an officer, Lin. Lin Zexu was appointed as an officer. Lin was a very honest officer. So Lin destroyed several chests of opium. Lin caught and destroyed several chests of opium, and he made the traders to sign an agreement that they will not trade opium in China. This was not liked by Britain, and Britain declared war against China because there so many chests of opium was destroyed. So this led to the beginning of the first Opium War, and the Treaty of Nanking was signed because China was defeated. British started bombardment and they defeated China ultimately after the war, and after the war, after China was defeated, the Treaty of Nanking was signed. By the Treaty of Nanking, we see China completely became open and came under so much economically under the British control. 5 ports were opened by China. China had to give a compensation or indemnity of $21 million, and Canton, the most famous, most important port of China, was given to the British. And like this, we see that Britain got the right to enter into China. After Nanking, another treaty, the Treaty of Bogue, was signed in 43, just the next year. 1842, Treaty of Nanking was signed. Just next year, 1843, Treaty of Bogue was signed, by which the British gained extraterritorial rights in China. That is, they can go anywhere in China and they can establish their settlements anywhere in China. After this, again we see that this matter was not fully settled, and Britain was trying to capture more of China. So they were planning to capture more places of China and breaking the laws of China. In this situation, we see that Chinese officer had seized some of the British ships. Many British ships were seized by the Chinese officer, and Britain claimed that it was their ship, so those ships were released. Even after the release, Britain wanted that the Chinese government should apologize. Chinese government refused to apologize, and the war started. That is, the Second Opium War started in 1856. In the Second Opium War, Britain and France was there on one side, and on the other side China was there. So in the Second Opium War, we see Britain and France jointly fought, because France gave the clause that one of their missionaries has been killed by Chinese. So France and Britain jointly fought against China, and China was easily defeated in the Second Opium War, which continued from 1856. In 1858, the Chinese government gave up and they signed the Treaty of Tientsin. By the Treaty of Tientsin, we see that 10 more ports were open to China. By Treaty of Nanking, we have seen that 5 ports were open to the Europeans. By the Treaty of Tientsin, 10 more ports were open to the foreigners, to the Europeans. And it was the French acquired the right to spread Christianity, missionary rights. The missionaries could spread Christianity anywhere in China. This rights the French acquired. So we see that Chinese economy came so much under the control of the foreigners, and like this they went on capturing more and more of China. And we see that after the Treaty of Tianjin also for 2 more years the war continued, and in 1860 finally with the signing of the Peking Convention the war came to an end. So Peking Convention of 1860 is very important. Peking Convention, it was decided that China will be fully open to the foreign powers, and the opium wars finally came to an end. Now you see all the Europeans started coming into China, and they started establishing their territories in China. They started looting wealth from China. As we have seen, America started the open door policy during this time, and all the European nations are coming and taking out from China. This phenomena came to be known as the cutting of the Chinese melon. So China was like divided among themselves like a melon. Like a melon, China was cut and divided and taken by the European powers for their own profit. So this was how China was open to the European powers, and how China came under the control of Britain or under the control of the European powers. Thank you.